If you are experiencing foundation issues, get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
Joining us is Coach Jonathan Beverly, head football coach and athletic director at Childersburg High School. And big win over TC last week, Coach. Got to play a lot of kids.
We did. It was good to get a win, obviously, but also really good to play a lot of young guys there in the second half and get them some Friday night experience.
TC a little bit down, but, the game was competitive for a while. Talk about some of the guys that you saw for Childersburg that, were making a difference.
Yeah, well, especially, that first quarter, things were competitive. It was a little bit back and forth there. They actually held the lead 12-8 before, we were able to, pull ahead and stay ahead. Xavier Gary had another big game for us, had over 170 yards rushing, and did, some really good things on not a lot of carries. Cameron Thrash did a great job managing the game. No turnovers for our offense last week, so that was really good to see. Defensively, really proud of the effort that Jalen Cook gave on our defensive front. So much attention goes to Zay Youngblood and Andrew Chapman that people weren't really paying attention to Jalen Cook and Cordell Spear, who came up and had a big game for us. So really proud of those guys. Another young guy in the secondary, Elijah Sims, had an interception last week, so really proud of him being able to step up and make the most of his time there. And so, like I said, the first half of the first quarter was very competitive, and then we were able to pull ahead and stay ahead and play a lot of young kids.
First quarter or first quarter and a half of football, Childersburg seems to get out of the chute real slow, and that's something not just last week, but something you've dealt with.
Yeah, that's something that we've continued to harp on and continue to try to force ourselves to have a better start, force ourselves to have a fast start, really against more competitive teams, against teams that are in our region week to week. We can't really afford those slow starts because you can't play from behind all the time. But I give credit to our guys for being able to pull out. I think we had 44 unanswered points at one point in the first half, and so we were able to pull ourselves out of it. But moving forward in region play, that's not something we're going to be able to do consistently.
Talladega tonight. Talladega losing to Munford last week, and we saw them with our television station, and they're a talented, loaded team, and Munford capitalized on some turnovers to beat Talladega last week, but I'm sure the coaching staff working on that this week.
Oh yeah, for sure. They're a team that still probably making a lot of adjustments, especially with a late in the summer coaching change. And so, some of the things that you saw in their first game last week were probably expected, but they're going to be ready tonight. And that's what we've been trying to tell our kids all week. Obviously, a little bit of advantage for us. We've been able to play 2 games versus they've only been able to play 1. But they're going to be ready. They're at home. It's the first region game for them also. So they're going to be geared up and ready to hopefully, they want to go 1-0 in region play. We want to go 1-0 in region play. So the motivation is there on both sides, and we've got to find a way to come out on top.
2-0 is a good start for the Childersburg Tigers, but it's a big region game, and you need to get these early region games done.
Absolutely. Especially like you said, early in the year, it's vital to start out with a leg up in region play because, down the line, you just never know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen with tiebreakers. You don't know what's going to happen just late in the year with upsets or teams, not doing as well as expected. So it's important to be 1-0. After tonight, half our region is going to be 1-0, half is going to be 0-1. So we want to be in that top half and be able to move forward. And again, our ultimate goal is to be playing football in November and late November, hopefully. So that, games like tonight are very important.
Talladega 0-1 after a disappointing loss to Munford last week, and their offense is driven by their quarterback.
Yeah, their quarterback Scales is a phenomenal athlete. He can extend plays with his legs, and obviously has a big arm. He can hit the deep ball. He hit the deep ball, against us last year 2 or 3 times. And so, we've really harped on being able to make sure that we, follow assignment football all the way through from whistle to whistle because the play's not over till it's over. And again, he's so good at extending plays and finding ways to get the ball in the other guy's hands. So we've got to really keep an eye on him.
Being a head football coach at Childersburg, what is this, year 3? Is it
year
3?
4.
Okay, year 4. Time flies when you're having fun. But what kind of problems can it present with, Tyler got a new head coach coming in. He came in very late. What kind of problems can that present? You got to be behind the chains on that for a while, though.
Yeah, for us, schematically from a coaching standpoint, it's extremely difficult. We've obviously, took last week with only one game film to try to prepare, and we put the best plan that we felt like we could put out there together. But on the flip side, we know that, a lot of times people change from week 1 to week 2. That's where you usually see some of the biggest changes. And so we've got a plan A that we're going to roll with, but we also know there's a plan B in the back of our head if they come out in a different defensive front or if they come out in a different offensive set. So we've got some contingency plans, but it's extremely tough. Usually from year to year, you can plan. They had the same coaching staff from last year. We could probably plan on some things a little bit differently. But with such a late coaching change, and then with them not having some great success in week 1, then they may be in a situation where they want to make some big changes, and we really won't see those changes until after 7 o'clock tonight.
Yeah, and it's tough on their coaching staff because you had such a short window. You got a football game you got to play, and now you're in week 2. Things beginning to settle a little bit. What does Childersburg have to do outside of no turnovers? What do they have to do now? You've seen tape of Talladega. How you think you can attack the defense?
We've got to, neutralize their team speed. They're extremely fast on both sides of the ball, but we've got to find a way to neutralize their team speed. We feel like our skilled players versus their skilled players is probably an even swap. They're extremely talented, but we feel like our skilled players are extremely talented. So that leaves us having to win the game up front on both sides of the ball, and we feel like we have to use that to our advantage. We feel really good about our defensive line. We feel really good about our offensive line, and so we've got to use that to our advantage and make them play the game within the trenches and try to keep the game. They want to probably get the game outside the hashes. We want to keep the game inside the hashes, and so we've got to find a way to do that.
Talk about offensively your team, and quarterback is a key position there because it all runs through the quarterback. First 2 games, talk about gauge the success at the quarterback position for Childersburg.
Cameron Thrash has done a phenomenal job, leading the offense, managing the offense, making the right kinds of decisions. Last week he was 10 of 12, which is a very high percentage. We're not a type of offense that's going to throw it 40 times a game, but we want to get to a place where we're throwing it, 20 to 25 times a game. And so, if he can keep that high of a percentage, that's going to go a long way. Did a great job getting the ball into, playmakers' hands, obviously our backfield, but then did a great job, getting the ball to our outside guys, Ryan Logan, Jay Twyman, Zay Truss, 3 guys that he was able to get the ball to last week. And then Zay Truss being able to get some quality minutes at the backup quarterback role, which is vital. And I put that on myself. We didn't do a good enough job last year, probably getting our second and third quarterbacks enough reps.
And they're going to be a play away from being in the game.
Right. So that's been a heavy focus for us this summer, leading into this fall. And so really pleased with the fact that, Zay Truss got some extended minutes at quarterback last week.
All right, Coach Jonathan Beverly, head football coach and athletic director at Childersburg High School. Childersburg 2-0 on the season, traveled to Mayor Dumas Stadium tonight to play Talladega in the first region game of the year. And kick is at 7 o'clock. And, Coach, we look to see you there. And let's talk 3-0 next week.
Yes, sir. Hopefully so.
Coach Jonathan Beverly is our guest this morning on the Coach's Corner. Back with more after this.